What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm D.Knight. Let's break the curse.
Cause it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Yeah, it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Can't stop my hustle. No, you can't stop my shine. I ain't come to make no friends. I just came to get what's mine.
Welcome back to the Dolphins franchise, everybody. I know it's been a few weeks before we have jumped in, but I am working very diligently at getting a new Madden 21 franchise up here. And to answer your questions, no, it is not going to be the Miami Dolphins, even though they are my favorite team. But I'm definitely going to outreach a little bit and start grabbing other teams and maybe even other fans to try to jump into some series and get some more people involved with everything that is going on. So for this episode, we are actually going to do a little preview, not a huge preview like we usually do, because this series is going to start taking a back seat to our awesome Madden 21 series that is coming up. And then we are going to get through the preseason, and then we are actually going to showcase our opening day game against the Seattle Seahawks, which is a 1 p.m. home game. So that should be pretty exciting. But let's talk about our team here. So last year, we didn't make the playoffs. We weren't good enough to make the playoffs. We had a 31st ranked offense and a 19th ranked defense. We had a lot of real interesting things that we needed to do this year, and I think that we were able to shore up our offense just a little bit more. But the big question is our quarterback situation. Now, we did end up drafting Nicholas Bolton out of USC, who is a hidden development 70 overall player, but this guy was great at USC. He had a 175.8 rating, 2,900 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 5 picks, and then also added 543 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground. He is an improviser archetype with actual real good strong arm potential, so he could actually end up starting for us from day one. But that doesn't mean that Dave Sands wasn't necessarily good. He actually produced the best quarterback stat line for us, so I think as a backup he's going to be huge, but they are going to fight out in preseason and see who can actually end up being the better quarterback for us going forward and hopefully make a playoff run. But last year Sands had an 86.3 rating, 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 13 picks. So I think he's actually a very good backup, if not a very low quality starter. So if anything does happen to Nicholas Bolton, I think we are going to be fine. Now, we did add a few weapons for him, including our new halfback, Travis Etienne, who is a star dev 81 overall elusive back, which fits our scheme perfectly. He has great ratings, but last year, which I believe he was playing for the Jets, I know that Madden 21 finally fixed this, but we have no idea exactly where he came from. But I do remember seeing him on the Jets during one of the showcase games. He was actually a backup. He only had 152 yards, 6 touchdowns, and then 7 catches for 111. He is going to start for us because I think he can absolutely be a premier back. So we are going to do that, but we also still have Nyheim Hines, who is going to be one of the better third down running backs in the league, I believe. This guy was fantastic for us, even starting when Philip Lindsay would go down all the time. He had 541 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then added 39 catches for 313 yards and a touchdown. For a elusive back, great speed, great carrying, and then he's also a very good receiving back as well. So I think our top 2 halfbacks for this team actually is an upgrade over Philip Lindsay, because maybe Etienne is actually less injury proof. But the third guy on our depth chart is actually Jamal Ellison, who we ended up drafting in the 3rd round, 71st overall, who had 1,100 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, 45 catches, 291 yards, and 3 touchdowns at North Dakota State. He's also going to push Justin Jefferson for some returning options, because it seems like he is higher overranked, so we're actually going to see in the preseason if he can take that over. But really, his spot here is our third halfback, because we already know that our halfbacks go down very, very quickly in this game. And then we also have incumbent power back Trey Ragas, who all he does is score touchdowns, including 6 of them last year. He is perfect. He knows how to get into the end zone, those power packages. We don't really use him outside of that, but I think he is a very good player, even though he's just 66 overall. But that 66 overall is power back-ish. Now on the other side, as a fullback, now we don't necessarily use the fullback all that much, but we did end up deciding to draft Anthony Wade out of Arizona in the 5th round to try to give a little competition to Eric Cannon, who didn't necessarily impress me all that much. But I think Anthony Wade, who is more of a blocking fullback, can actually help us out a lot better. But my shiny new toy, which I absolutely love, is actually our #1 receiver, who is replacing Devontae Parker, but it is Jalen Reagor, who is a 85 overall superstar dev. This guy looks awfully good. I'm not real happy about his height because it's 5'11", but 96 speed, 96 excel, 86 catching, and then look at his routes. Other than short route, this guy seems to be able to get open. He has 65 catches, 994 yards, and 12 touchdowns, and actually ended up being the top wideout for the NFC, who he played for Tampa Bay. So I think this guy could really take the top off the defense. Hopefully we can get the ball downfield to him, and hopefully he can have the same season that he did a year ago. At the #2 spot, we have Keke Coutee, who is kind of sticking around, but he's kind of starting to lose his way with me. Last year, he had 63 catches, 647 yards, and 4 touchdowns, but I didn't feel like he's doing what I kind of wanted him to do, which was take a lot of attention away from Devontae Parker. Didn't seem like that was happening whatsoever. So his #2 spot is actually kind of in a troubled position, and that is because we decided to sign Devonta Smith out of Alabama. Now we know how good he is currently at Alabama, but when we had this actual draft class, it did seem like they thought he was all that good. But he actually put up great numbers. 65 catches, 632 yards, and 4 touchdowns. 97 speed, 98 excel. This guy can just blow the top off the defense. Short route does need a lot of work, however, but I think as a #2 receiver, he could also garner a lot of attention because of that 97 speed. So I'm really excited to see what he can do and maybe even open up Jalen Reagor a little bit. But I mean, we all know Devonta Smith could be absolutely fantastic. And then the 4th spot, we have our slot receiver, Adrian Hardy. Another superstar, 77 overall. We've seen him kind of come up from pretty much nothing. Not great speed, but really good route running besides the deep route. Good catching, good excel. And it seems like every year he seems to do very good. He had 49 catches, 563 yards, and 3 touchdowns last year. Hopefully we can see just a little bit more from him, or do we finally go away from Adrian Hardy in the slot and maybe start using Devonta Smith or Keke Coutee there. At the tight end position, it is awesome Mike Gesicki, 81 overall star dev guy, and he had 62 catches, 624 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He actually led our team in touchdowns. He's a big red zone threat. Dave Sands knew how to find him. Trevor Lawrence, for whatever reason, just couldn't seem to find him in the end zone. I mean, just toss it up to the guy. The guy's got height. But I think he's a great tight end, and I think we are very well set in the tight end position. And then backing him up is Josh Oliver, who actually had a Pro Bowl season the year before with the Jags, but last year didn't necessarily show us that he was all that good. He had 14 catches, 124 yards, and 2 scores. But he needs to show that he does have 85 speed. He can get downfield. He can take a little bit of pressure off of our 2 wideouts that are going to be super speedy. Hopefully he can do that this year. And then for our line, we pretty much have the same exact line that we had last year. We have Penei Sewell over at left tackle, who continues to get really good. He's 80 overall superstar dev. Guy with 93 strength. He should be able to block a lot better. Our line has been kind of underperforming in my opinion. But the one move that we did make was actually left guard Trey Smith, who we ended up drafting a couple of years ago. But this guy has finally kind of come into his own. We're going to give him the opportunity to start instead of just kind of mix and matching our guards. And hopefully he's able to really show that our offensive line can be great. I mean, it should be. We have some really good, talented guys. And then we have Tommy Saxton, who we drafted last year in the first round as our center. Again, he has absolute great attributes, 77 overall. This guy should be good, but again, he didn't get a good dev trait, but I think he's definitely the best center that we have had through this series. DARRIN PAULO continues to make strides. It seems like he feels a lot more comfortable at the guard position. So I continuously want to see him continue to improve, and hopefully he can be even better than what he was before. And then Sidney Patrick over at right tackle. He's having the same issues as Paulo was. He's just getting beat by those great pass rushers. But I do believe that this guy is going to be something fantastic because of his core attributes. He's only 79 overall, but I think if we just keep playing him, keep getting him better, he's going to be one of the best right tackles in the league. And now for our defense, which was 19th overall. We did have to kind of switch things around a little bit because our boy Lorenzo Neal did not want to come back with us. Not sure. I mean, look at this star-studded defense. This, I mean, 19th, it was a very big disappointment in my opinion. I think we are a lot better than that. I don't know if it was just because people are sick and tired of losing. Morale was an issue. We would probably have lost these guys already. But at left end, we do have Chase Young, who had 6 sacks, 15 TFLs, 43 tackles. So he is definitely a solid guy. And we all know how good Chase Young actually is. And I don't think he got as much love as he probably should have from the draft class creator, but that's my opinion. On the right end, we're actually going to give the start to Josh Sweat. We ended up moving Wilkins into defensive tackle, but that was because of how good Josh Sweat has been performing. He had 12 sacks last year, 7 TFLs, 38 tackles. He wasn't a starter at all, and those are the kind of numbers that he was putting up. We're going to give him the opportunity to start this year, and hopefully he's able to really boost that stat line because it seems like no matter what, he gets his stats. For the defensive tackle position, we did end up moving Christian Wilkins back to his more natural position at DT. And I mean, as an 85 overall star dev guy, he should be able to dominate here. But he ended up having 8 sacks, 16 TFLs, 57 tackles. And I expect actually a little bit more from him coming from the inside, so hopefully he's able to improve his stat line just a little bit. Now we do have a pretty good logjam here for DT2. Right now the guy that's got the inside track is last year's first round pick, Jaden Goddard. A guy that didn't really get a lot of playing time last year, but was able to register a sack and 2 tackles. Kind of want to see if he could possibly be the guy to replace Christian Wilkins in a couple of years when he's starting to get a little bit older. But we also picked up Andrew Billings out of free agency. Nobody seemed to want to give him an opportunity, but he's a run stopper kind of DT, 93 strength, 80 tackle. The guy can absolutely stuff the run. But then we also have Tim Beck, who we ended up grabbing in the first round as well. A guy that could be that run stopper guy alongside of Christian Wilkins. 90 strength, 75 tackle, but I think this guy could be actually a lot better than his core attributes say. We're going to have to hope and see, but he's going to have to impress in the preseason to be able to get up to that second DT spot above Jaden Goddard. Now for our cornerbacks, and I think our cornerbacks are going to be very good, but it seemed like they kind of took a step back last year. Leading them is Jair Alexander, who is 88 overall star dev, but he's going to start regressing here soon. He had 11 interceptions the year before, but last year they didn't test him as much. He only had 2 picks, 89 tackles, 7 pass defense, 2 TFLs, but a guy that is a top line quarterback or cornerback in my opinion. I think this guy could be very good. But on the other side, we still have superstar Xavier Howard, who is starting to regress a little bit. He is at 83 overall, but a guy that is perfect. I mean, even though he's a zone archetype, I feel like our zone just gets blown up all the time. But he had 2 picks, 91 tackles, 7 TFLs, 3 pass defense. He is starting to lose his speed a little bit. He's got still pretty good excel. His man coverage is decent. His zone coverage is even better. So a guy that we shouldn't be giving up huge plays for whatsoever. And then our slot corner is actually Avery Young, who's actually been impressing me more than anything. Last year he had 2 picks, 95 tackles, 5 TFLs, a sack, and 5 pass defense. I believe that this guy is going to be the heir apparent to Xavier Howard whenever Xavier Howard is pretty much done with us, or if we're done with him, either one. But I think this guy could be a very good CB2, and he's in our slot spot currently. And then our 4th cornerback is actually Teez Tabor, who we ended up signing to a free agent deal. This guy, every time I see him on the field, he's making a play. He had 12 tackles and 2 pass defense, but again, he doesn't look like much of a coverage kind of cornerback, which stinks. But again, go out and make your plays, be a playmaker. Now let's end up going to our linebackers, who are a very scary bunch of guys, starting here with left outside linebacker RAEKWON McMillan. Now a lot of you guys were very disappointed that I moved him from middle linebacker to outside linebacker, but I think he's pretty good as an outside linebacker. He's got really good speed. His coverability is actually not bad. I mean, we're getting torn up by tight ends, but I think that's just because of Madden. But a guy who had 109 tackles, 11 TFLs, 7.5 sacks, and 3 interceptions. Uh-oh, he can catch the ball. I love it. But we ended up moving him outside because of how good middle linebacker Jerome Baker has progressed. He's 86 overall, superstar. He's actually playing a lot better than RAEKWON McMillan, in my opinion. And I think he's a very good run stuffer at the current spot. He had 123 tackles, 8 TFLs, a sack, and 3 picks as well. Our linebackers actually led us in interceptions. That's how good this linebacking core is. I'm really excited about Jerome Baker. And then on the right outside spot, we actually have MERLIN Robertson, who has been absolutely fantastic. And we ended up moving him into a rush D end spot last year, and it was the perfect scenario. The man had 8.5 sacks, 56 tackles, 13 TFLs. So even though he doesn't get to play in the sub linebacker spot because of McMillan and Baker, we still get him on the field during those passing downs, and he contributes, and that's perfect. And then our MLB2 is Lakia Henry, but his contract's about to come up. He's 76 overall, star dev, but a guy who can make plays in the running game. He had 31 tackles, 2 TFLs, a guy that is actually very good, but I don't believe we're going to reach out and try to re-sign him. And then our number 1 backup linebacker, we decided to return Avery Williamson, who's a 10-year vet, a guy that seems to play very, very well, and I enjoy actually watching him play. He had 28 tackles, 2 TFLs, and half a sack last year, but he is regressing. He's more of a backup player, but I mean, if any injuries happen, he's going to step in right away and be an absolute beast. Our free safety, we are looking good because we have, Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's 90 overall, superstar, and he's actually our top overall player at this current moment. He had 1 pick, 92 tackles, 5 TFLs, a sack, and 2 pass defense. You can't really say anything against this guy. He's a great free safety. He can cover. He can come up as a linebacker. He can be a slot corner. We stick him with free safety. It seems to be working for him, but we really need to see if our pass defense can actually pick up a little bit. And the guy that's backing him up is ARSENIO SHEA, who is a 2-year pro out of Michigan, 72 overall. Guy with decent core attributes, but his play rec is really down. But seems like if he gets on the field, he does end up making a play. He had 7 tackles last year. And then on the strong safety side, we have Xavier McKinney, who is 81 overall, star guy out of Alabama. Another guy that it just seems like he just gets the job done. I mean, I was kind of worried his first year, but it seems like he continues to step up. Last year, 85 tackles, 2 TFLs, 5 pass defense. The first year he hasn't had an interception, but maybe it's because they don't want to try to test him. I think this guy could be very good for a very long time, but I'm actually more impressed with 2-year pro Quincy Shepard, who is 73 overall. But it seems like this guy is always in the right spot to make the play. He had 18 tackles and 2 TFLs, and that was as a backup. He seems to know how to get around the ball carrier. His play rec's at 70. I don't know exactly if that's really good, really not, but it seems like he is always there to make a play and seems to be able to make the play. Now, our special teams. I am starting to get a little worried about Jet Toner. He had 21 of 26 field goals last year, 80%, still a lot better than the 56% from Jason Sanders. He did end up hitting a 56-yard field goal, but all of his misses were from 50 plus. We knew he didn't have a big leg. We knew he was very accurate. We continue to try to pump every little bit of upgrade into his kick power. If he's able to start hitting 50 plus on a consistent basis, he's going to be very good. So I'm still a little worried because his percentage has been going down, but our offense has been so bad, it's putting him in a bad spot to try to kick 60-yard field goals. And for whatever reason, Brian Flores is like, oh, it's a 70-yard field goal, let's kick it. Yeah, it doesn't work out. We know he doesn't have a big leg. Come on, Flores, get it together. And for the punter, we have 7-year pro Matt Hawk, who is finally 30 years old, but a guy who has a 52.3 average, a 46.6 net. The only problem is he only had 10 inside the 20 and 15 touchbacks. His accuracy needs to get just a little bit better. We need to be able to pin teams deep, especially with how good our defense actually can be. So we are going to see if he can actually do it correctly this year. I mean, it kind of has been going up and down for him, but we will have to see. And then as you see over here as our kick and punt returner, we have ELLISON, Jefferson. I will be changing the Rager thing. I'll do it right now, actually, because I don't want Rager on the field more than just being out there and doing his thing as a wide receiver. So I think we have a very good team to actually compete this year, but it seems like we consistently seem to have offensive problems. This year might not be any different because of our quarterback situation. It's still very weak. I hope Nicholas Bolton can absolutely just dominate. Hopefully he has a really good depth trait, and hopefully he can lead us to the playoffs. But he has to show up in preseason. If he doesn't show up in preseason, we're going to have to go with Dave Sands again, who's above mediocrity. I mean, let's just put it simply. But again, he had the best stat line of any of our quarterbacks in 5 seasons, so can't be too bad. But I am going to end up simming through the preseasons, and then I will see you guys after the preseasons. We'll talk about cuts, we'll talk about who we're sending to the practice squad, and then we will jump into the game against the Seahawks. So I'll see you guys in just a second. So the preseason is over, and we ended up finishing 1-3. We ended up getting to go against the Giants in our first game, and Trevor Lawrence, surprise, surprise, absolutely dominated us. So I knew that was going to happen, but it is what it is. But let's take a look at the stats so far, because there weren't really many surprises. I mean, our offense was 25th in the league, and our defense was actually dead last. Our defense really needs to pick up, but it's the preseason, and I actually subbed guys in a lot earlier than anybody else. So taking a look here at the QB stats, so Tanner Reynolds actually ended up leading us in yards, but that's because he played the most, and he had 343 yards, a touchdown, and 3 picks. He's actually the only quarterback to actually throw picks, as Nicholas Bolton was 24 of 41 for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a QB rating of 100. And then Dave Sands was 26 of 43 for 251 yards and 2 touchdowns with a 92.2 rating. Now, they both played pretty well through the preseason, but I do think that we're going to give Nicholas Bolton the opportunity to start. Yeah, he wasn't as accurate, but he was getting more downfield shots, hence why he had 324 yards and less attempts. So he looks like the much better quarterback going forward than Sands. Rushing wise, we're actually going to sort this out by average. And Travis Etienne, 3.8, 13 for 50 with a touchdown. So he cemented his spot as our starting running back. Trey Ragas actually did pretty well too, 18 for 69. Tanner Reynolds had some good scrambles in there. Nicholas Bolton, same thing. Dave Sands didn't really scramble all that much. Nyheim Hines, 7 of 20 with a 2.9 average and 1 score. Deontay Swain actually got a ton of play time this preseason, but did not impress me. And neither did Jamal Ellison with his 2.3 average. So we kind of see how our running backs are pretty much going together here. As for the receivers, Donnell Snow actually led us with 11 catches and 132 yards. Darnell Bradfield, 9 for 95. And again, those guys had a lot more playing time. Damon Hazelton, 10 for 75. Trey McKitty, again, every time he touches the field, he seems to make a play. 5 catches, 67 yards. Devonta Smith, 4 catches, 61 yards. Adrian Hardy had 4 catches for 60 yards and a score. Lincoln Fields also had a score on 4 catches for 58 yards. Oliver, 3 for 50 with a score. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 46, but wasn't really getting down the field. Kiki Cootie, 4 for 41. Swain, 3 for 39. Buckley had 5 catches for 38 yards. Rager only had 2 catches for 37, but he didn't play a ton. Wasn't risking him to injury whatsoever. Gesicki, 4 for 35. Jalen Teague, 2 for 23. Etienne, 2 for 20 with a score. Ragas had 2 catches. Hines had 2. Chandler Gore had 2. As for blocking, the only person that kind of gave up the most amount of sacks is a guy I was planning on keeping on the practice squad anyway, and that was Colin Cooper. Monty Dillon gave up 1. Patrick, Trey Smith, Panay Sewell, Jawan James didn't, Saxton, Myers, Paulo didn't give up any. And you can see the downs played there. It's not like they weren't playing. So at least our line looks like it's going to be pretty beastly. As for defense, Lakia Henry, 25 tackles, 2 TFLs and a sack. Baker, 16, 15 for Rowan Meredith, 14 for Nasiril Dean. RAEKWON had 13, and then you can kind of see everybody else is going on. The defense, we were able to kind of sub in and sub out, so you're not really going to see a lot of our starters with high tackle numbers. Who led us in TFLs? It was Adam Beard, ended up having 3. And then leading in sacks, it seems like a ton had 1, which was Beard, Henry, Peel, McMillan, Williamson, Beck, and Chase Young. And then interception speaking, Rowan Meredith and Michael Collier both had a pick. And then for fumbles, there was only 1 fumble during the preseason, and it was forced by Jerome Baker and then recovered by Jerome Baker. Kicking, Toner was actually 100%. He only attempted 1 field goal from 50 plus, and that was a 50-yarder. But he did end up missing an extra point in one of the sims. So, and that's the first time he's ever missed an extra point. Matt Hawk looked like a beast, 50.3 average, 48.4 net with 2 inside of the 20. Kick returns, we didn't really have any. Deontay Swain had 1 for 27. Everything else was a touchback. I'm not exactly sure what that was all about. And then punt returns, Jefferson had 1 for 6. Hardy 1 for 13. And Rager had 1 for 5. And actually, Jamal Ellison did not get 1 whatsoever. So that kind of still keeps everything in tight, but I do think that we're going to go with Justin Jefferson with our depth chart. So actually, let's take a look at the depth chart before anyway and see exactly who we got starting. So at QB, Nicholas Bolton over Dave Sands. Etienne will take the top halfback spot with Hines, Ellison, and Ragas beneath him. Fullback, Anthony Wade, I felt a lot more comfortable with him out there blocking. Wide receivers, Rager, Cootie, Smith, Hardy, Jefferson, and Fields, with Hazelton being the 7th. Tight ends, Gesicki, Oliver, Buckley, and then Trey McKitty is going to be the backup. For tackles, it's going to be Panay Sewell and Sidney Patrick, with Jawan James and Dillon being backups for pretty much the entire offensive line. Trey Smith will get the start at guard. Myers is also probably our top backup on offensive line. Tommy Saxton starting at center. Paulo over at right guard. And then for left end, we got Chase Young backed up by Whitman and Beard. Right end, Sweat backed up by Lachinsky and Whitman. Defensive tackle, Wilkins and Goddard will actually get the starts with Billings third and Tim Beck there in fourth. Outside linebackers, RAEKWON, McMillan with Williamson and Nasirildeen backing up. Middle linebacker is going to be Baker and Henry with Williamson and Nasirildeen. And then right outside linebacker is going to be Robertson with Williamson and Stirk. Quarterback speaking, Jair Alexander is our top cornerback, as we already know. With Howard, Young's going to be playing in the slot, Tabor is going to be in the dime, and then Meredith there in fifth. Free safety, Minkah, SHEA is backing up, and then strong safety, Xavier McKinney with Quincy Shepard. Kicker, Toner, easy. Hawk, punter, easy. Kick return is going to be Justin Jefferson, with being the punt returner as well. Our third down back is going to be Nyheim Hines, with the power back still going to Trey Ragas, so not a lot of moves there. Slot, we already know, is going to be Adrian Hardy. Our rush left end is going to be Chase Young, with the right end being Merlin Robertson. Defensive tackle, Wilkins and Sweat are going to be our rushers there. Our subs going to be Baker and McMillan. And then our slot corner, as I already said, is going to be Avery Young. But now we need to do what the worst thing of every preseason is, and that's going to be cutting 15 players. Now, Tanner Reynolds, I signed him to be our practice squad quarterback regardless, so that is where he's going to go. Darnell Bradfield is going to go to the practice squad. Deontay Swain, we're actually going to have to end up cutting him. He didn't really impress me all that much. That's why I tried to give him as much time as possible, but he wasn't going to make it. Sean Foote just could not develop enough, so he is gone. Trey Ragas stays. Donnell Snow will go to the practice squad. Jalen Teague will go to the practice squad. Chandler Gore just couldn't get it done, so we're going to have to end up cutting him, but he's 26 at this point anyway. Just could not really progress enough for us. Lindsey Peel, practice squad. Eric Cannon. Now, I was thinking of moving him to the practice squad, and I think I actually am, just in case, but he's going to go to the practice squad as well. Mike Wright is going to end up getting cut, and we will lose about 830 in cap space. That's okay. Roman Carson is going to go to the practice squad. And then Michael Collier. This was kind of a tough decision, but I think we're actually going to send him to the practice squad this year and just kind of get a little bit of work. Heath Steele is going to go to the practice squad as well. And these guys are staying, so now I need to find out exactly who we need to send on down to the practice squad. Starting here with Arsenio McDonald, we are going to put him on the practice squad. And then the very last one, now I have to really think about it. And I definitely forgot this guy at the very end. But we are going to end up cutting Colin Cooper. He's just not going to be good enough for our line, so we are going to cut him. And that gets us to the 53-man limit. So now we need to advance week as we get to see the Seahawks again after our fourth preseason game. Now we get to see them in the kickoff weekend. I mean, are we going to be able to beat the Seahawks? I'm not sure. This team is so up and down at this point. Our goal is to make the playoffs. It is every year. And if we can't seem to get it done, then we might end up having to move on from Brian Flores at this point, because it's not necessarily working out for us. Brian Flores has gotten good pieces. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, we have no idea exactly what happened with him and why it's completely turned out the way that it did. I mean, he was so much better than the way that he played. He was throwing so many interceptions. We had to make a decision. We had to go to Dave Sands last year. And Dave Sands at least gave us the opportunity to win some games. But we are going to jump into this 1 o'clock game against the Seahawks. Let's see if we can start off this season with a win.
Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a great one on tap between the Seattle Seahawks and the Miami Dolphins. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Coach, thanks. Located appropriately for his career win total at 347 Don Shula Drive. There's a look at Hard Rock Stadium here in Miami, Florida. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Seattle Seahawks and the Miami Dolphins. With my good friend Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we have arrived at another new season. I had a little more pep in my step this morning. I know you did as well. Here we go.
Yeah, when you went out for your 5-mile jog, you were flying. You did it in record time because you were psyched up about this game. But let's be frank about it. No more radio shows, no more podcasts, no more just predicting what's going to happen. Now we get to see it on the field.
Seahawks now for their first possession. They're led onto the field by their quarterback, a man who's made quite the name for himself in the NFL, and that's Russell Wilson.
And when I think of Russell Wilson, I think not just of the state when he was with Wisconsin, a big completion helped lead his team to a victory. A big fourth down throw for a touchdown in an NFC Championship game against the San Francisco 49ers. When the chips are down, this guy plays at a big level.
The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up second down. Throwing again on second down. Wilson, that's into the hands of his tight end, Will Dissly. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. Middle third, the seam routes, the in routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down. And here's the starting offensive unit for Seattle.
Obviously a tough test for this offense right out of the gate. Road game in game 1 of the new year. Conventional wisdom says, go slow, take care of the football. I think in this case, attack early and get the home team back on their heels.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up third down. And the line to gain here is the 37 on third down. From the gun, it's Wilson. He'll check that down to Carson. Looks to throw, fires right side. And that's going to be incomplete.
You're the smart guy.
No, that's you, partner. Now a handoff here to his running back. Showed some flash on the run, but he will be brought down shy of his 10. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
And that run, that changes the whole mentality about the drive right there. They were starting on their own 2-yard line. They just wanted enough space to pump the football successfully. Now they're talking about putting together a drive.
That one, a first down pickup of 8. Nyheim Hines, his first carry. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. And he'll give it here to his running back. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Watch the screen.
First and 10 at the 27-yard line.
On first and 10, Bolton. That's caught by his big tight end, Mike Gesicki. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Operating from the gun, Bolton. This to Hines on the drop-off. And a good job on the tackle there as they get him down shy of the first on the 35-yard strike. Head at their own 20-yard line. They'll start out on the ground with Carson. And he will lose yardage on the play. Back at his own 19-yard line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down and 11. Wilson after the play fake to Carson. Catch is made by Hunter Renfrow. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. That wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
On second down now, it's Carson. And he'll only get a yard to bring up 3rd and 1. Only a yard on the pickup, so from a good situation on 2nd and 2, it's now 3rd and 1.
Screen 80.
From the shotgun, Wilson. That's complete to Disley, the tight end. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 38-yard line. He's going to find and complete it to Renfro. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. From the 36, Wilson. This will be caught. Tyrell Williams. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 25-yard line. Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon. Maybe anticipating a blitz, and they jumped.
Yeah, and if we saw it, you know that they saw it. The bad guys might have been coming on that play. Had to pick them up, and they jumped.
Wilson will throw again. That's complete into the hands of Carson. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and that'll make it 2nd and 12. On second down, it's Carson, and he'll be dropped at the 23 after a pickup of about 4. Out of the huddle now for play number 9 on this drive. This is 3rd down and 8. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. It's caught, Lockett. And he's going to be marked down short of the first down, right around the 17. And they're able to pick up the first and keep possession. Just a gain of 3, but they'll certainly take it as they convert on 4th down. No score after 1 on EA Sports. They'll run on first down. Carson, he's taken down at the 7 after a gain of 7. Throwing on 2nd and 3. Wilson, this is caught. And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. A 7-yard touchdown grab as his guys are first onto the scoreboard here this afternoon.
The big fella was the recipient there for that touchdown pass, and it seems like more and more the tight end is the guy you have to worry about most in the passing game.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down. Goes backwards. Now it's Hines. And an alley to run. And they're able to get this one across the 35. A Miami first down on the 14-yard pickup. From the gun, Bolton. This one caught by his tight end, Oliver. So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on first down. Here's 2nd and 8. He rifles one that's intercepted. Trey Flowers picks it. That's not one that he's going to want to remember, but he had to get it out of the way at some point, his first career interception.
And if he's the guy that they think he is, he's not laughing it off, but he's also not going to let it affect him as the game proceeds. He's going to go back out there, still be the same confident kid, the reason that they drafted him, and go out and play.
The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. Things progressing to plan so far. Their defense has been solid, and they've got themselves a 7-0 lead after the touchdown the last time they had the ball.
And this is no time to even think about, hey, are we going to milk the clock? Hey, are we just going to do ball control? This is the NFL. 7-0 leads, they don't last very long unless you continue to push the envelope on offense.
And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short. On 2nd and 2, Wilson. Here's Carson with a catch out of the backfield. And he stopped after a gain of 1. Not enough. Still a yard to go on 3rd down. On 3rd down, it's Carson. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the first. This is Carson. And he'll be brought down at about the 42. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8. Throwing on 2nd and 8. Wilson. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 32-yard line. On 1st down, Carson. And he stopped immediately there. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down. Throwing on 2nd down, Wilson. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Jair Alexander, and a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
You can try and underthrow it and go back shoulder, but your timing has to be impeccable. And here, I think it was much more of a duck than a designed back shoulder throw.
The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now, and I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
It was Jerome Reed who got him down. Looking to throw on 2nd down. Bolton, and that is incomplete. An incomplete pass on 2nd down. It muddles things a little bit here. This is 3rd and 10. Operating from the gun. Bolton, he'll check this down to Hines. And they're going to drop him well shy of the first as he can only make it to the 11th. So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground. Next thing you know, they'll march off another 15 against your squad.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. Here's a run on 1st down that doesn't accomplish anything. In fact, he's going to be tackled behind the line for a loss of 1.
Everywhere. They want to see more of that here in the NFL.
2nd and 11. Open man is QT, complete. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield.
Ready.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line.
Bottom line, your offensive line has to block them first to give yourself a chance.
Oh, a battle for it here, and this will be caught. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks 36. Now, here's another 1st and 10. From the gun, Bolton. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. A 10-yard pickup, and it's enough for a Dolphins first down. On 1st down, Bolton, and that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete. Once again, they'll come up on the 26-yard line, 2nd and 10.
We got 4.
Here's Hines. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Back-to-back stops make it 3rd and 10. Draw play. This is Hines. And he's not going to sniff the first down here. He stopped at the 25. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down. On 4th down, Brian Flores going to call on the field goal unit. 2 minutes on the clock, second quarter, 7-0 ball game. A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll send you up to Orlando. Jonathan Coachman is there, and he'll have stats and scores from a busy Sunday in the NFL. And his kick is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3.
I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. Draw play. This is Carson. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. Now it's Carson, and he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. The Dolphins going to take their second timeout.
To get it done in a ball game, they've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
They go over the middle, and it's complete to start the drive. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. 2nd and 2. Pressure comes. He's taken down by the Seahawk defense. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. And all this is taken in one-handed. What a catch. Now the Seahawks call the second of their 3 timeouts.
Defense is due to take away a player of his magnitude. It costs them in other areas, and right now, with them losing, they may have to change their focus, and maybe he will open up a little bit more as the game goes on.
Yeah, well, so far, just the single catch. Now the Seahawks forced to use their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 20 seconds to go in the first half. On 2nd down now, it's Carson. And he's going to have a first down, but not sure it'll matter as the clock will continue to run. That one, a first down pickup of 8. So we've reached halftime here on opening weekend as we send you up to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome back to football, everybody. We've got a full slate of 16 games here to start the new season. So let's take our first trip around the NFL. We'll start up at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. And it's the Titans out in front in that one. 2 touchdown passes there for Marcus Mariota. From there, let's get down to Baltimore to check in on the Ravens at home at M&T Bank Stadium. And for the moment, they find themselves trailing the visiting Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals looking to get their season off on the right foot. They've got the lead on the road. Finally, let's get down to Houston. Check on the Texans at home at NRG Stadium. In that matchup, all even in their battle with the Chicago Bears. Meanwhile, in our game, not a lot of offense to go around. 7-3 is our score. Will we see things open up in the second half? To find out, we get it back to our guys in the booth, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Offensively in this game, yet they still find themselves in a position on this drive where a touchdown can give them the lead. They need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, they're still looking for that first touchdown here in the 3rd quarter. All they have so far, the field goal. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. And now a throw here secured by his running back out of the backfield. On 3rd down, it's Hines. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. A rough go there on 3rd down, a loss of 4. See what this Seahawks offense has in store with their first possession of the second half. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, though, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room, because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away. Defense, we got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points. Turn the ball back over to the offense and let them go down and score and give us more of a cushion in the game. Go to a zone blitz scheme. Get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
On 2nd and inches, Wilson, short throw to Disley, and he'll get it down on the play to the 37. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down. That is catch number 300 now for his NFL career. Wilson got his man. That's Tyrell Williams, and he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line. First down, Seattle, 16 yards the gain there. 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Here's Carson. He'll get it inside the red zone, but only for a couple down to the 19.
52's the mark, 52.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Wilson. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Here's Wilson. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Young. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. Wilson operating from the gun. The quick slant caught. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. That's good for a gain of 6, 2nd and goal. Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Wilson, and he's got it. Caught in the end zone for the Seahawk touchdown. From 3 yards out, and the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further. A good, sustained drive there in this 3rd quarter, capping it off with a touchdown to give them a nice 2-score advantage.
It was actually a fun one to watch, wasn't it? I mean, for me, the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board, they've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Takes this to the 27, give him 4 yards. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's dropped just before the line to gain. 4-yard pickup leaves him with 3rd and 1. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. And to give this time to the tailback. And he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the first. Operating from the gun. Bolton. It's hauled in by Hardy. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. A pair of first downs gives them a 1st and 10 up at the 44. From the gun, Bolton. And he's going to have the hook up to QT. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on 1st down. Now they'll run on the draw. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. From the gun on 3rd down. Bolton, that's complete to Hines out of the backfield. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And they had to go a long way on their last drive to score the touchdown. This time they get at least a little bit more of a cushion with field position.
I have to think that with this field position, after what they did on the last drive, they might want to take a shot right now and try and cut down the length of the drive.
Here's a handoff to Carson to begin the drive. And he'll take this one for about 4 up to the 40. Following the a pickup of 4. Here's 2nd and 6.
4 yards on the pickup.
Throwing is Wilson. Oh, there's that man again. It's complete. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down. From the gun on 3rd down, Wilson. He's got a man open. It's Hunter Renfrow. And he's got the 1st down yardage as he takes it down to the 49.
And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10. To throw again is Wilson. Well, this is caught by Williams. And he'll be brought down on what's going to turn out to be the final play of this 3rd quarter. We are through 3 quarters here on NFL Kickoff Weekend. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Wilson going to lead his guys up 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. They run it with Carson. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's nothing else. They've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up 2nd down. They run again with Carson. They'll wind up getting 4 down to the 36. And the Seahawks on 3rd down. They've hit 4 of 7. This is 3rd and 9. From the gun, it's Wilson. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
It's a base hit, and he's on base. They bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm. A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10. Had the completed pass, but for no gain, stopped right at the line, so it's 2nd and 10. Now a pass, and it's complete to QT. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Operating from the gun, Bolton. They'll find Hines out of the backfield. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. 4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. 2nd and 6. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Hines. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move.
Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking 1st downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, 1st downs, they can't touch the ball.
A good start to the drive. Here's that's caught out on the left side. The drive starting play, a good one. Give him 19. Play to start. Here's another 1st and 10. Now a handoff here to his running back. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. They stay on the ground. Again, it's Carson. And this time not as successful as he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be 3rd down. Now Wilson from the gun on 3rd down. That's complete to Disley, the tight end. The completion there winds up a wash, and it'll bring up 4th down.
We're really into it then, but not during the course of an actual game. This has turned into a field position game, though. Sometimes the better punter may actually determine the outcome.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. Throwing again. Bolton. Got an open man, it's QT. And he'll be upended after a gain of 5, up to the 25-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. On 3rd down, they'll try and run for it on the drive. And he is not going to get the first down as they'll spot this at about the 28.
They want to take away, and they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
Back to throw. Bolton. That's complete to his tight end, Mike Gesicki. The time to pull out the stops is now, and they convert there on 4th down. Throwing on 1st down. Bolton. And he's got his favorite target yet again. It's complete. So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on 1st down. Looking to throw. Bolton throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking up 8. It'll be a gain of 8 yards, and they'll be faced with a 3rd and inches. Back to throw. Bolton. And he's got his tight end, Oliver.
We got this.
Drive. Here's 1st and 10 up at the 46. From the gun. Bolton. Complete over the middle to Hardy. And he'll be down at the 46. So they go from 146 to the other on a pickup of 8. A gain of 8 there on the 8th play of the drive. So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Looking to throw. Bolton. And he'll find QT on the right side complete. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks' 34-yard line. Now an open man. That's the tight end, Gesicki. It's complete. Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion. 2nd and 1. On the right side open is Gesicki. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. Back to throw. Bolton. And this is caught now for a late touchdown. So hold everything here. This one's not over yet.
I'm not sure win-win is the proper term here, but it certainly felt like it. They got the touchdown they needed. But if I'm on the defensive side of the ball, okay, you got the touchdown, but it sure took you a long time.
Yeah, because offensively, though, you're probably hoping for a 1 to 5 play drive. That one ate up a little more time than they were hoping.
You're exactly right. And if you have that 1 to 5 play drive, you actually build up momentum and even more hope. When they had to slog their way downfield, they got the touchdown, but it's almost like, yeah, you know.
It doesn't feel right.
Exactly.
We got to get the ball, D. Get the ball.
Back to throw. And he's got it. So the try for 2 successful. And with it, they're back within a field goal. So the deficit now 3 after the huge conversion, but they need to get the football back.
So this is where special teams really comes into play, because getting the ball back, it starts with this next kickoff. How do they get downfield? Either jar it loose or get the ball back themselves. That's going to be key for them.
And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. And now trotting back out with the rest of his offensive mates, the big tight end. And a bounce back here for him after a slow start. And sometimes that's how it goes with tight ends. Those catches in their games, they can go in waves at that position.
And you get so locked into stopping them that you think, okay, hey, look at that. We've held him down. And the best ones, you really don't hold down for an entire game. They're going to get their catches. Your job is to keep them from being big-time catches that break you down totally.
So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. They'll keep it on the ground. Carson, and he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. The Dolphins going to take their 2nd timeout as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in quarter number 4. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And they will take a knee here. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in the 4th. And they take a knee. The last 2 plays each lose a yard. They'll try to move forward here on 3rd and 12. They go down to a knee, and the new campaign off to a good start. It's a win here in week 1. So the victory here for Seattle. And with that, our journey begins, Charles. Week 1 in the books. Going to be a great season.
Oh, man, so much to look forward to. Isn't it nice to get a really good game right out of the gate? Preseason behind us. All these games count now, don't they?
Yeah, this is the exciting time with just 1 week gone and plenty of weeks to come. So for the Seahawks, it wasn't always pretty, but they do eke out the Week 1 victory here by a field goal. And they'll have another road date next week with the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, for the Dolphins, they go down to defeat here in the opener. And they'll try to rebound next week as they head to Glendale to take on the Cardinals. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.
And we end up dropping our first game here to the Seahawks as we end up losing 14-11. Again, our offense just seems to be stuck in reverse. We just can't seem to get it done. We had no rushing game. When Bolton was dropping back to pass, it looked actually pretty good. I mean, our offense looked good when we were throwing the ball, was absolutely terrible when we were running the ball, yet we were very committed to it, kept trying to push it. Our defense was kind of a bend and don't break. We didn't have many possessions in the first half, and that's ultimately why. It seemed like the Seahawks controlled the time of possession, and we end up losing. As for stats on the game, Bolton had 195 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. QT, 9 catches for 90 yards, so definitely feeling the effects of them focusing on Reagor. Gesicki also had 5 catches for 28 yards. Jair Alexander had our interception. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks had 213 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Chris Carson, 71 rushing yards. Will Dissly, 9 catches, 65 yards, and a pick. And again, we cannot shut down the tight end. And then Trey Flowers had the pick for the Seahawks. So definitely a disappointing Week 1 loss to the Seahawks, but we are not out of anything yet. We played well. Our offense just needs to start clicking, and yet again, we have a new quarterback, a rookie quarterback, who actually looked like he could be the one. Hopefully he totally is, but that is where we're going to end this episode. And then when we come back, we will get through a couple more games and see where we stand, and hopefully we can push on to the playoffs. But thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next episode. D.Knight, out.
They thought it was a game till I came back with that win overtime. I've been working, now I'm back at it again. Now we finished what you thought that was the end.